What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. This very special episode where me, your boy Varni, and the guy across from me, your boy Dan, both didn't participate in the locals. So now you get to revel in the fact that there is no locals talk. So suck it, Lance. You don't get any locals talk this week. Ha! Ha ha! I took it away. Y'all don't get to hear it. No locals. That's it. It's the end of that segment. 44 seconds into pod. Moving on.
With that being said, we did not have a local because no one showed up because everybody's like, I don't want to play the game because EX10 is the following week, so no one showed up because of that. But Gino and I just played a whole bunch of games for like a couple hours, played some fun games and so on. That's literally it.
So yeah, moving on. Comment review.
Yeah.
We're getting to it really early. So we got a lot of comments.
15 in.
A lot of comments on our generic engines good for the Digimon Card Game. Let's see, what do we got? Sebastian said, engines were straight up my main reason for me to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! And jump to Digimon last year. Fiend Smith engine being omnipresent, Preda brilliant, and adventure in prior years, every deck having the same end board. Glad the Growl X engine just got hit, but it was not hit hard enough in my opinion. Growl X should have gone to 1. Comment by Dr. Pulcinella said, I agree, deck is still tier 1, it's just not the best deck anymore. It can't be Omnislop because Blitz lose all your security. Blitz again in 1 turn. Oops, your card game didn't work. It's just not fun. It is funny mentioning Yu-Gi-Oh! That same day that pod went up, we learned that the same engine that Dan was referencing in the pod was then hit in that pod.
It got banned. The super generic part of the engine that leads into it is what got banned, which is crazy.
So,
yeah, it's like I know what I'd be talking about sometimes, you know?
There's going to be a couple other comments that we get to here. So let's get up to it here. Shout out to Team Death Slinger TCG. First of all, they do great content. I did a collab video
shout out to
a couple months ago. It was basically called The Tamer Trials, where we spun a wheel, had to build a deck, play some fun games. They said, I love the art y'all been using for thumbnails. DGU has, I'm not going to say like an official thumbnail artist, but if we do have instances where we need thumbnails for our videos, we do have somebody that we can reach out to commission thumbnails. So y'all would have seen the ban list art that was running around right after the ban list came out, and I saw that and I was like, this is like really freaking cute and I want to use it for our video. So I hit up the artist and they had no problem with me using it, which was really awesome of them. I also asked them, hey, would you mind us commissioning you for future thumbnails? And they said yes. And so boom, the engine pod thumbnail was commissioned by our thumbnail artist. So it is great to be able to just say, I got an idea. And instead of me trying to like cobble pot some stuff together in Photoshop, boom, custom thumbnail art. So yay, I'm super happy about that. That is fantastic. Hey, listen, Everett GTC, I bug Dan to put out content for Digimon, but Dan doesn't like putting out content for Digimon. Everett says, Dan, I've been looking to complete my Millenniumon deck for a while. Is your deck list up anywhere? No, Dan doesn't like making content for DGU. He doesn't like putting up deck lists. He's like, he especially deck lists, right? Dan hates making deck lists. He hates it. I will ask this man to make a deck list and he'll be like, nah, I don't want to make a deck list.
The lies this man speaks. Hey, yo, where's Gino's deck profile for DM? Still waiting for that to be on the YouTube algorithms going on.
Listen, there's some.
Where's the backlog of videos I recorded for commentary for
those
Digimon
are those are in the works. Those are straight up in the works. I actually do have to message our editor about those.
You know, I
haven't checked in on those, but those are in the works.
If I can see, if I see that,
I can at least tell you. I can at least tell you that they're in the works.
If I see that going down, I got you. I had I had videos planned for deck profiles and stuff like that. I plan to make them, but you know, I gotta have the assurance that my time is not gonna be wasted by not being on, you know, on.
I'm pressing X to doubt, but yes.
Oh, okay.
B Dunback. First of all, B Dunback. Hey, listen, Mike is moving out your ways, so you will be able to get your grubby little paws on your very own DGU member, potentially, if he arrives to your locals. That's right, DGU Mike coming to a locals near you in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Who's that? That guy don't even,
I don't know.
That guy don't even do a podcast anymore.
Sorry, I guess I gotta call him main phase Mike now.
Does he even do that either? I don't even know he does Gundam content anymore. Yo, one
Blake
day,
said,
I can see this. One day he's gonna like binge watch or binge listen to all these, and then he's gonna hit us up and be like, what the F? Y'all always talking crap about me.
Nah, Mike ain't going. You put too much faith
I said
in
the
that,
one
man.
day. I said the one day he might binge watch.
Never, ever, and forever will he ever.
Never?
Nope. I call it now.
Man.
And if he does, if he listens to this, honestly, I don't actually want to hold him. I don't want to hold up to that bet, so I'm not gonna promise.
He said, I'm not a betting man. Hey, yo, no, put something up.
I'm not a betting man. You know what?
The Crimson mode that you just sold, put it up instead.
Yeah, no. I got you though, Mike. If you
whoever
watch this pod, I will give you.
No. If you watch this pod, what color is Varney's lights currently? Or what color is the drink in his hand? Wait. Backtrack real quick. We're getting off topic and it's fine. Whoever bought DGU's Crimson mode, please let us know who you are, because I want to know what the baller you are, dog. Like, I want to see that max rarity Gallum on deck.
Hey, listen, they might not be playing it, you know. I mean, I bought it just because I love the art. I just so happened to find out that it was the border art and not the full art that the Ultimate Cup one was. So, you know.
Oh, man.
I could just be buying it for collection, but I did make a pretty penny off of it. So
sure did.
Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, so Blake said, basically, I hear what you're saying, Varney, about the ban list. However, the criticism just seems like I don't like these matchups, and so I have to express my displeasure towards the deck/Bandai's decisions. He also says, I hated Purple Hybrid at full power, but with the nerf they received, I still think the deck hits hard and can exist. Some stuff sounds broken, but like Squeamon, for example, sure, Shaka is strong, with decks just not as hard-hitting as it was previously. It doesn't soft-lock your opponent like Volderarm did. Losing their level 6 slowed the deck down, also having Rush Geomon. Deck plays a lot slower now, so I see your points when a recent online event. You can see what/how decks are doing. Point of a ban list is to balance things, not to destroy them. Sounds familiar. The recent online region shows a healthy meta. Just sounds like your frustration is burnout, playing too much Digimon, not taking a break, or just not having fun with the game/meta. If your only reason to play a deck is to win, you'll hate the game even more because of that. You sound like Dan last year. My recommendation is just take a step back, relax, play casually. With some lower tier matches, rebuild your interest again. The main reason people quit is because they don't take a long enough break for themselves. They come back feeling good, but the point of the break is to change your mindset. So this stood out to me for the reason that I feel like, and I mean, you know, my podcast, I'll say what I want. I feel like this comment was kind of out of touch with recent podcasts. If you, I know you listen to podcasts, so like,
yeah, shout out to him. My man said last year when Dan had his burnout, that's how you know he's been listening.
Right,
he's been like, a day oneer.
I know you listen to podcasts, so like, I don't play Digimon right now. As a matter of fact, I don't play Digimon to the point where I have effectively given up playing Digimon competitively, and I play Grand Archive competitively. I keep up with any card game that I am interested in enough that if I wanted to jump in, I should be able to jump in and basically get back up to speed in less than like 2 weeks or so. Grand Archive took, I'm like 3 months into Grand Archive, and I don't know like everything, but Grand Archive was definitely like a bigger onboarding process because I hadn't played the game competitively before. And now I feel like I'm in a much better spot than I was before. Still learning a lot, but much better spot. And but like if I were to like jump into One Piece, like I gotta go learn the decks, but it's gonna take like, I don't know, a month. And if I'll be honest, I hate Gundam. I don't hate it. I love the Gundam card game. I love the series. I hate the way it plays. It doesn't feel innovative enough. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said this perfectly. It's just another Bandai card game. And it feels like such a bad stigma to have that it's just like, oh, it's just another Bandai card game. Dan, I don't know how many, you haven't played a lot of Bandai's card games, so you might not feel the same way, but like I've played One Piece, Dragon Ball, both Masters and Fusion World, Digimon, sorry, I gotta restart because I forgot what I mentioned. Both Dragon Ball games, One Piece and Digimon, Gundam. I haven't played Union Arena. I did play Battle Spirits. Am I missing any? Did anything else come out?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
So I've played basically all of their card games except Union Arena. And I love Battle Spirits. I will say that. I did love Battle Spirits. I did not like how sweaty it was. It was too sweaty, which is crazy to say that a card game could be too sweaty, but it was way too sweaty. Not casual enough. You couldn't even say, yo, Dan, let's run some games, because it was straight up like, ew. Like, I don't know. I could say to Dan, let's run some Digimon. Let's run some Gundam. I could even say to Dan, let's run some One Piece. And Dan, in all of his One Piece hate, would entertain me. Dan entertained me playing Grand Archive. Right?
I don't know if I would entertain you on One Piece. Obviously,
you would entertain me on One Piece.
You know on Grand Archive.
You know why I know you'd entertain me on One Piece? Because
I watched the finals replay?
No, because you entertain me on Grand Archive.
Oh, okay.
That is why. But
there's a difference.
Spirits?
There's a difference. There's no it's gonna be another Noctum. There's no Mike hate behind the One Piece. That's the issue, you know? For Grand Archive, at least, you know, because you told me Grand Archive is like, it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's like, I'll entertain it since it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! You know? There's a difference. If Mike was back in Grand Archive, it was talking about like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, you know, I'll be you know, over on that side of the world of things, you know?
So my point is that like Gundam, actually, let me not even harp on that. I'll just say Gundam feels like another Bandai card game, and I hate that. It doesn't feel unique. It doesn't inspire me to want to play the game. I don't want to play it. If I'm going to play a Bandai card game, it's going to be Digimon.
No, I was going to say, Gundam feels like they just took they tried to take all the best parts of all their games and smash it to one.
Yeah, there's nothing unique that makes it the Gundam card game, which is what I love about Digimon, because what uniquely makes Digimon the Digimon card game is the memory gauge. Every unique mechanic that makes this game truly Digimon. Every time a mechanic comes out, I mean, look at EX10. We're not getting any new mechanics, but just the sheer fact that all of those cards just feel like, oh, look at you can draw lore out of all of those card effects. And we're going into BT23, which is Hacker's Slumber, I believe.
Yes, correct.
And it's a Cyber Sleuth extension set. I don't even know what Hoodimon does, what Hoodimon's about, because I didn't play Hacker's Memory. But I'm sure that when the whole set's revealed, you'll be able to draw all these lore connections. And just from playing the Time Stranger demo, which was freaking phenomenal, might I add, BT24 is going to be insane for cards, for lore, and for effects, which makes me excited to play Digimon. And is why I could never give up Digimon. I would always play Digimon because I can come back to play this game casually. And if Bandai actually wanted to give a shit, I could come back and play this game competitively. Unfortunately, I don't feel like they give a shit competitively for the game right now. So I'm not playing the game competitively, which is where the conversation comes back to. And I'm playing Grand Archive and focusing on Grand Archive competitively. So yes, I am frustrated with the game, but it's not the game. It's more Bandai. I can make do with them, man. I don't give the only deck that did frustrate me, well, outside of, I will always say, you will always hear me bitch about Imperial. There will never be a day until Davis and Ken gets absolutely nerked where you don't hear me bitch about Imperial. But outside of Imperial, Sukuimon was the only other deck that was just so unfair. I didn't even complain about what's that deck called? Fenry, like that, right? Like Fenry was annoying because, like, sure, yeah, it happens out of nowhere, but you know what? Like, I guess it is what it is. Like, it's not even like I couldn't play the game. It just kind of happened. I just died on turn 2, and I guess that was okay.
Oh no, I hated it.
I know you hated that, right? And you hated that. For me, it was just it's the fact that Sukuyamon does that while also locking you out the game. If you happen to live to the next turn, and that's what pisses me off more. And I'm not going to harp on the Sukuyamon points. I just hate that the deck is slower, but there's still a core issue with what the deck is capable of doing that wasn't addressed, and I don't like that. That won't change. That's never going to change. Me taking a break that's not going to change. I agree. Purple Hybrid was a very powerful deck that is now still a powerful deck, but fair. And I agree. I have said ban lists are to balance and not nerf decks. Sukuyamon, however, is not a deck that Sukuyamon went from like here to here, in my opinion. The results may not show that, but that's how I personally feel. But you know, I don't play the game competitively, so sure, I'll take a step back. It is what it is. The results did show, you know, that everything has kind of, you know, regardless of what people online are saying, because I saw some comments talking about like, oh, like the wrong Growlmon got hit, and I was like, are we all looking at the same results here? Because like, there's only like 2 Growlx top 4s. I don't know what the rest of the results look like. But from the results that I saw, 2 Growlx top 4s out of 3 tournaments, Dan, was it? Or 2 tournaments? I want to say it was 3.
It's either 2 or 3.
So
because Machine won 1, Purple Hybrid won 1, and then
Royal Knights?
No.
Oh no, it was Growl that won the other. I think Growl won the other.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah. I
mean, 1 for 3 for wins. That's not bad. You know, the ban list did what it's supposed to do.
Hey, and but honestly, Machine Jumon's a problem.
If anyone seriously thinks that, y'all need to go, I don't know, kick some rocks, go touch grass, do something, go. I'll go say something else inappropriate, but we're not going to say anything crazy.
Go kick rocks with open toe shoes.
Machijimon is for, you know, and no, anyways, I'm not gonna saying it. Anyways, Machijimon is not a problem. It's just a really strong deck.
Every deck is really strong, right?
Actually, in today's
except
world,
Sukuyamon.
I mean, Sukuyamon's still good, I guess, right? It has 1 or 2 top now.
But I mean, if we take a quick retrospective on it, because I don't want to harp on it, a quick retrospective on Sukuyamon. Technically speaking, Sukuyamon didn't deserve a nerf, right? Because Sukuyamon's tops in retrospect to how much, like if you look at the entire pie chart, right? How much it topped to how much the representation of the deck was, it didn't have a lot, right? Am I wrong?
It was like top 3 or top 5, something like that.
In terms of like total,
yeah, tops? The tops. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't have all the statistics on me, so.
Who was it? DigiPod did the statistics. I think it was for one of his videos. I think it was.
Oh,
it was obviously Growlx stuff. Royal Knights, Sakuya was top 3.
Oh, okay.
Purple Hybrid was like 9th, and yeah, it was in representation, so not necessarily tops, but I think it was like all in total representation. I just remember,
see that
Purple
does
Hybrid was
things.
9th. I remember Purple Hybrid was 9th, but it had 2 W's.
Do you remember how long ago that video was?
It has to be within the month of August, so like around ban or September, end of August, early September. It was during the like the ban list talk week. Like
right before the ban list dropped?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can find it in the next like 3 minutes while we try to bullshit our way
I'll
through
tell
this.
you right now. I got it because I remember the thumbnail, I believe. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty up there.
So I think I'm looking at the video. I got to try to glean the results without audio here. Oh, here we go. So Digimon, is this tops or is this
Prior representation?
I think this is, no, this has to be tops because it says Digimon with 35, and I assume 35 means tops.
Yeah.
So it would mean Digimon, Royal Knights, Gallant X, and then Sakuyamon with 18 tops. So it had a fair amount. It did have a fair amount. Don't know what the columns mean without delving into the video a bit. So I guess it did deserve a hit, but technically it didn't deserve a hit as much as Digimon, Royal Knights, and Gallantmon did, right? So technically speaking, Digimon got the hit, right, because Growl. Royal Knights got the hit because Purge. Gallantmon got hit. They didn't hit Sakuya. And then the next deck was Imperial, Purple Hybrid, Phoenix. Those are 3 decks that, you know, if you consider a Phoenix, you know, got, what's that card called? It's escaping my mind. Garuda, there we go, Garuda X. Garuda X got hit, and that was after, I know why, because it was part of the Growl X engine, but in terms of tops, that was after Imperial, Blue-Green Imperial, I should say, Purple Hybrid, and Sakuya. You know, that got hit. Technically speaking, Sakuyamon didn't need a hit. I mean, not even really Gallantmon needed a hit. Technically, it was just Royal Knights and Digimon that would have needed like the biggest hits. I guess if you combine the fact that Growlmon as a engine combines Gallantmon, those 2 decks as one engine have the biggest amount of representation for tops. So yes, that gets hit. Royal Knights get hit. Sakuyamon doesn't have as much. Maybe you hit it right to nerf its how powerful it'll be in the next format. But then why didn't Imperial catch a stray? Why does Imperial stay? Why does
it
Imperial...
doesn't. I told you, this is what it does.
I know.
Imperial goes away. When banlist talks comes around, the Imperial runs to the hill somehow and never comes back. The moment banlist happens, yo, that boy comes back from the depths of the mountains and it's just like burn everything down. Watch it win this match, and we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's so infuriating. I hate Imperial so much. That goddamn big ass headed boy and his freaking Vmon too. Wormmon though, Wormmon's the best. I like Wormmon. Yeah. Anyway, let's just move on from that. Talk about that anymore. Dr. Pulcinella, who commented earlier in reply to something, also said, I will say generic engine topic is almost a problem. Just like how top-end floodgate boss monsters has been an issue, combined all with this consistency value option like training and scramble, and this game's overall health has taken a dive. Fun decks are just no longer welcome and haven't been since BT8. And this game is just not even trying to beat the became Yu-Gi-Oh! Allegations. Not there yet, but boy, are we getting there.
Such a wild and extreme comment, in my opinion.
So I think there are definitely things to be done to make the game. Interaction is the name of the game, right? I think that's the biggest thing. The lack of interaction is what can make or break the game from being fun. We were in a period of time where there was no interaction. And that was from the start of the game until BT9, when that then became, oh shit. Hear me out. I'm not articulating it well, but as I explain it, it'll be articulated better. Until BT9, where in BT9, it was then, cool, we're all gonna stay in our little silos, and we're each gonna raise our little boss monsters, and then we're gonna try to smack each other in the face until we win. Hopefully we all just get to do it in one turn. And then that continued until BT
11?
15. No, fuck that. BT 15. I guess technically yes, BT 11, because Black War
would cross.
No, not even, forget cross. It was really Black War Greymon, where you had that power in being able to interact on your opponent's turn because of the unsuspend.
Sure, yeah.
Pop something, become a blocker. You have some sort of protection to what they're able to do to you. So yes, BT11, when you have your first real control deck outside of SecCon. Because before then, we had control decks here and there, but nothing in between. You know, that's why I loved Examon, because Examon was that deck. It was just hard to get there consistently at times. It was a rogue deck for a reason. And BT11 gave us BT11 gave us Black or Greymon X, and boy was it fun for all of, you know, what was it, Dan? A month?
Something like that.
And then the interaction went away, right? Until really BT15, because that's when we got, or maybe BT, let's say BT14,
because that's when Aces started.
That was when we got our first good set of aces, but then BT15 fleshed it out and gave us a second good set of aces. So we finally had a good set of aces for all the colors. Well, most of the colors.
Purple still has ass.
Purple and red were scuffed. Well, I guess
Garudamon was good.
It was okay at the time because there weren't really blockers, but it was okay, right? We had some sort of interaction. And then you get to BT16. And I know everybody hated Magna X. I'm not going to sit here and justify it. It is what it is. Whatever. You can feel the way that you feel about it. I'm just going to say it shifted the future of the game, realistically speaking. It said, cool, I am the first boss monster that will make you play the game around me. You will play this game with me in mind. You will by no means go to a tournament and expect not to face me. You will not expect to not beat me. You can't just shoehorn your way past me. In the words of Thanos, I am inevitable. That was Magna X and BT16, right? And we slowly got more counterplay for it, right? And technically, that was BT16. We're in BT22. Magna X is technically irrelevant right now, which is crazy to think that he's irrelevant. Even if you backtrack, take away Ultra S, and we go back to BT21, he's still irrelevant. In what world is Magna X a card that says, I have immunity, irrelevant? Well, like if you take, and we're going to be talking about like the state of the game later, so this is probably like a perfect kind of precursor topic, but it kind of speaks volumes about the game's design, the way that cards are designed, and in general, the lack of interaction within the game, and how it, both that and as well as the game developers' design philosophies and how that shines through in the cards that they give us, what that means for generic engines, for cards like one that just came out that I'm a really big fan of, the Gatsumon option, Dan. What is it called?
Comet Punch?
Comet Fist.
Whatever.
Comet Fist, you play it for 5 and
Digivolve 4.
You get to Digivolve 4, place it in battle area, and then
when a CS attacks, you can activate it in Digivolve 4 again.
Which is really cool. I spoke really highly about Ragnarok Cannon for Galactic. I know some people don't like Ragnarok Cannon.
Love it.
But that is the way. Let me save that. Dan, let's remember that topic about option cards later. Let's say that's a really good topic for later, because we'll talk about state of the game later. But
let me make a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Took a while on that one. So I think here's the issue about the interactiveness. Right. So the issue is back in the day when the game was super slow, like you don't need to interact with boards because you're slow, right? There's nothing going on for much of the game, right? So when the game speeds up,
Omnimon and Pop,
right? If you go into, you speed up the game faster, you get boost options, trainings, whatever it is that goes on, and you speed up the game and you get to the point, you're still losing out. Like there's no, because the way the game is, there's no interaction. So now you just OTK people and call it a day and you don't care. So now that we're trying to get interaction, or weight or protection, because sometimes you just delete the crap out of things and it doesn't matter. People are having an issue with that because we're now fast plus interacting. And so I think people are having an issue. And I think that we don't even have enough interaction because we've gotten to the point where trainings on boards are so important. Not trainings, options on board are so important, but we have no real interactions with them. And we still need those.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna keep calling this. We need MSTs for options in this game, and because it's just that's the point of the game. We need that type of thing. Whether I know we talked about side deck, and I think that would be perfect side deck type of card if we had those, right? But it's another conversation another day, which we already had. But we need more ways to interact, just like how we got tamer interaction. Like it took a while for us to get tamer interaction. BTA was the only card with Black or Greymon. And then slowly, we got,
put some respect on Lucemon Chaos mode, sir.
Who? Oh, he came out. Was it BT7? He came out BT7 or BT8?
BT7, sir.
Irrelevant. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. He was a good card. He was a strong card when it popped out. But yeah, you had that, and then you had Black or Greymon, right? That was the only cards that you could. And now we're getting to a point. EX10 is about to drop. We got a whole ton of tamer interaction in today's world, and that's great, honestly. And like people don't like that, but we needed it. My tamers should be untouchable. No, it shouldn't, because the way the game works, where tamers are so important. Tamers are so important that they're taking SR slots and secret slots in sets, and that's how it is in the game. And we need that, and just like that, like we got that, we need the interaction for the options, and I think that we're trending in the right direction eventually.
Absolutely. Hurricane Road said, I'll always say this, engines are not the problem. The problem is what they go into. The only engine that is a problem is Sakuya and Galaxy, which can specifically go into level 7 for cheap. And there's too many level 7s, so it's unrealistic to hit them all, and level 7s are just very game warping, as they should be, in my opinion, which is why they are locked behind a large evo/play cost. If an engine lets you go into it cheaply, that's too much for the game, in my opinion. But to easily go into a level 6, that is something I think every player wants to be able to do. In fact, I think the game could benefit from more engines. While every color, I think, has a generic engine they could use, some are too old and could use an upgrade, or simply don't have an impressive level 6 to use with the engine. I just hope Bandai stops making floodgate level 6s and 7s. That's where the real toxicity of the game lies, in preventing any form of comeback, and not from playing the game well, but because the cards inherently do it. I really agree with that statement. I think that's really well put. I think level 7s, it's fine, right? If a ruin mode type card exists, we all hate ruin mode. Let's be honest. I saw the Reddit post. A lot of us hate ruin mode. It is what it is. But yeah, we shouldn't be allowing free ruin modes, which is what it's the entire problem that I have with Sakuyamon. And also, yes, as much as I love Galaxy and Grace Nova, I dislike that free Omni X is a thing. That should not be a thing. And free ruin mode also is a thing. So, yeah, don't like that either. Going with that comment, dudes playing vid games said, the problem with generic engines is when they outperform the core deck it was supposed to be built around, rather than them either be used as support or in tandem or used as a budget option. I usually thought that Digimon could always benefit from smaller budget versions of cards that could be used in place of optimal lines for kitchen table play, but the best example I could give is when an engine outperforms the deck core would be Yellow Vaccine for Magnamons and Rapid X, rather than allowing those cards to reside in their own respective decks. Not calling for the BT13 Patamon ban, but to still jump as much for as little as it did. It raised the question why I would run Terriermon instead. I'll say it again, a generic engine should either be support, a tech choice, or a budget option, not the focal point of a deck. I think that's kind of subjective, right? I think the big thing in any card game, and that's kind of it's the problem with design, right? Like, you kind of have to design an engine to make certain things work. Vaccine as an engine, you can't just say like, all right, here's this Patamon, and you could lock it. All right, let me put it a better way, because Dan can take over this conversation. I played just a little bit of it, and it worked, but you can also see why this game didn't really take off. The original, like the not the original, but the 1999 Digimon card battle.
Oh.
You could only digivolve into the what were the digivolve conditions there, Dan? Because you didn't have to digivolve like Patamon into Angemon, but you had to fulfill a digivolve condition, right? Or no,
yeah,
you
it was
did
the
you did have
trait.
digivolve conditions, right?
Yeah, it was, or whatever it says the trait was, I think.
Right. So I think each Digimon box on that has like a thing where you have to have a certain like Patamon has to go into an Angemon that is like a specific trait or a specific like I forget the exact layout of the cards.
The symbol, yeah.
But it was kind of a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna hold you. It was kind of a pain in the ass. If you didn't have it, you really couldn't do anything, especially when your opponent was leveling up and you were still a rookie. So now you got this champion facing off against the rookie. And in today's game, right, if you had that concept, you have this Patamon and Raising that can only digivolve into Angemon. Well, now you are relying on the game developers to then release cards for every line. And to rely on that creates two problems. Number one, you're taking away from the core that is Digimon. That's number one. Yes, not in Agumon doesn't digivolve into Angemon. I don't think that exists in any line. However, it's not to say that it's impossible. More importantly, though, what that really means is that if Patamon could only digivolve into, let's say, Angemon and Unimon, let's say I know those aren't the only two, but let's say those are the only two canonical Digi-Evolution lines. The developers now have to make good Angemons and Unimons. Otherwise, there's no reason to run a Patamon deck. And then because they can only digivolve into Angemon and Unimon, you have to make a good Magna Angemon and whatever the ultimates are, and then that branch has to be worthwhile running. Otherwise, you're just you can't run a Patamon deck, because if Patamon sucks, why bother running the rest? Or if the rest of it has to be really good to justify running the Patamon. And then that just creates a different design problem, right? So the design problem of having engines is better, and it is okay to have them being the focal point of decks. Just the balance, the trade-off has to be there has to be reasons to run other things, right? For purple being the example, Serb engine. I don't run the Serb engine with Lilith, and there is absolutely no benefit to me running that engine with Lilith. It conflicts with the style of what Lilith is trying to do. That means that's good, right? That means that engine serves a purpose. It is a value generating engine. It generates card draw. It can generate a body, generally speaking, but that's about all it can do. So it's good for something like Levia that kind of just wants to do, 3 or what is it? Basically 4 to 6 checks in a turn. It's good for more aggressive decks, is what it boils down to. But it's not good for more mid-range or control decks. You can kind of play it in a mid-range deck because you can play it with like Anubis, but you're typically playing that with other things. Or if you look at something like Anubis, right? Anubis at the time wasn't playing, I guess they would have been playing Serb because that other Serb is really good for them. The one that recycles, they would have ended up playing that one. And then that deck would have been even more busted. So, but their value then would have been generated off of basically playing out Digimon to gain rush and swing multiple times. For Lilith, my ideal engine is something that is setting up my trash. So I need the same sort of filter that the dog engine is providing me, but I also need my inheritables that my Black Godmon, my Witchmon, my Sutaimon are giving me. And that would be the type of engine that I would want. And that's why Lilithmon isn't good, because she doesn't have any good engine that she can use. I can shoehorn some other purple stuff. There's like what's it called? There's a little sort of taunt package that you can play with Darugamon and Codecracker Fang and Hacker Judge. It's that's it. It's just you know. So engines have a place. It is a design choice of the game. So, you know, that's what I have to say on that, Dan. You have anything to say?
Not really. Moving on.
As a Yu-Gi-Oh! And a Digimon player, I love getting to hear both sides and opinions about this topic. Listen, Dan said to me one day, you know, people are gonna get tired of hearing us compare everything to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry. I'm also not sorry. Dan's a former Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. Actually, don't let him fool you. Dan's a Master Duel player.
There you go.
He's a former paper Yu-Gi-Oh! And a current Master Duel player. And I'm a Grand Archive player. So you're going to hear the comparisons. It is inevitable, as Thanos would say. Now, one thing we did want to talk about before we get into the state of the game. Nationals. That is coming up at the time of this recording this weekend. So Dan, what's going to win Nationals? Imperial.
It's going to be Mamimon, Senbon Dokkan off the top
Senbon Dokkan. Damn, even got him coughing over there. That's how crazy the take was.
Anyways. Oh my god. All jokes aside. Anyways, as y'all will know, we are not going to Nats, unfortunately. So, but we get to talk about it. So, what do I think is going to win that? I think it's a tough one. I think this is probably the most tossed up Nats we had in the last 3 years for sure. I don't know about I don't remember. I guess because I wasn't really participating in the first one. That Varney was in the first one, I believe, and I was in the ones after that. But man, I felt like every deck going into Nats, you were like, yeah, this is for sure probably going most likely would.
It's because there's never been a ban list before Nationals.
Right before, that's true. No, that's valid. That's valid. But I think even without the ban list, I would say this is pretty. It would have been wide open. It would have been 4 decks. It would have been Royal Knights, Tsukuya, Growlix something, and Omnimon. I think it would have been guaranteed those. You would have seen those top 4.
Yeah, right. But you would have known. Like, you still know now, but you would have, if there wasn't this ban list, there would have been a very high probability of Growlix. I wouldn't have even had Royal. Sure, I would have had Royal Knights as the rogue pick, so to say, because I would have had Growlix gassing them out, because I think Growlix would have gassed them out faster than Royal Knights would have win. It would have been Growlix, and then I would have had. I still haven't played against Omni. Okay, I just want to say that. I have still not played against Omni.
That's because you never want to playtest.
I don't know.
You don't want to playtest it anymore.
I don't know if Omni is gas or ass. Okay, so I'm gonna say, based on everything I hear from you and Cliff, if I were to say something, I think it would have been Growlmon pre-ban list. Okay, pre-ban list. My picks would have been Growlmon to win Nationals, and if not Growlmon, Tsukuyamon, and then Royal Knights, and then Omni.
The thing is, like, Tsukuyamon does absolutely nothing to Omnimon.
It doesn't need to. It just needs to win. You know.
How do you win when you just go when someone goes, I bet I'm gonna clear your board, alt rest, you can't do anything about it.
That's the thing, right? If Tsukuyamon is going to OTK, it doesn't matter. Either Tsukuyamon's going to OTK or Omni's going to OTK. And
yeah, you like that. But So here's my thing when it comes to Tsukuya, because I played against so much. If you're at 5 and they don't do a chip damage, they're not going to OTK you 90% of the time. So they're going to put you at 0.
Is it because Valderarm has Sec +1, right?
Yeah.
So they do
5
Sequoia
damage.
X. So they'll do 5, but okay, they don't have the extra swing. Okay.
Yeah. So usually the combo is they do the 2 checks, unspent 2 checks with the rush token. That's 5 checks. So that's what I'm saying. Like if they don't
And
ever
Omni
do
can
the
take
1
that
check.
extra check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. Like, and then they're going to land on Voldarum. Voldarum does nothing against that deck, basically. Like you don't get your on plays.
Have any on plays.
Sure, you don't get your on
there's
plays,
nothing
but
to suspend.
Who cares? Who cares about your on plays if you have it all in your hand already and you just go Nokia effect, play rookie, raise your other rookie, Evo, DNA, swing, right? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, like toss out the window because we don't care about that anymore. This Nats, right, is the most wide open Nats because bringing back to what I was saying before, I don't remember the first Nats as much, but I felt like it was between like I feel like it was guaranteed like Gabubon and like Setcon kind of esque or like Beelstar or whatever it was.
No, it was Gabubon.
Right, that's what you said, Gabubon.
No. But you said it was It was between. No. It was.
Oh, okay.
Just
sure.
Gabubon with okay, we're gonna play Setcon and really hope that we play into all the Gabubons and not really play into anything else. Like because Jesmon was running around. So it was let's hope we play in the Gabubons and hope we don't run into Jesmon.
Sure. And then we had after that was I believe the Black Greymon X1. I believe that was the next one, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because that's the one you didn't go to. I went to by myself.
Yeah.
It was like everyone knew Black Greymon X was the dominant deck, and it was that or you were playing Cross or like Grandis was like a thing that you could still do, right? Black Greymon X1, right? Shocker, it won. It didn't win every single Nats, but it won ours, and that's all we care about. Then the following year after that was Anubis running around, and you had Red Hybrid and Anubis. It was just Anubis dot Nats basically.
Yep.
We know what won now, right? It was Anubis.
Yep.
We kind of knew. Then the following year after that was what was the following year now? No wait, that's not this year. Right? That was Orlando. What was Orlando? I don't remember. I forgot already. Oh my god.
What did you play against?
Mirage. Duh. Oh my god. How did I forget about my Mirage training? It was Mirage, Purple Hybrid, and that was kind of like that was the top 2 decks with things sprinkling Leviathan because I think Leviathan was the one that won, and a couple of things. So you knew those were the top decks, but now we're coming to Nats of September. When it's going to be September 20th is the Nats Day, this Saturday coming up. And we just had this ban list. We had 3 regionals where all of them are like different results. It's not like it was one winner on each one of them or the same exact tops because they were all different, which was crazy because our regional, which was the online Canada one, had 4 Machinima tops with one of them winning. The other 2 that happened across the world, no Machinima tops, I believe, or at least it was just one. You had another one that had Purple Hybrid won. Purple Hybrid's still good. You had another one that I think it was Growlex dot deck. It was probably McGee. I think it was McGeejumon that won, which was McGeejumon doing McGeejumon things. And then you had a variety of different tops. And so that being said, back to your question, what do I think is going to win? I have no idea. I'll be straight up. I got 4 decks that I think is going to be that has a really good chance of winning. I think Omnimon is up there. I know Omnimon hasn't shown well yet in regionals because it has a chance of bricking, and if you brick hard, you kind of can't really do much unless those bricks are like your searchers, and you just need to get to those other pieces. So that's like the downside. I feel like every deck has a little weakness. You have Galamon, I think it's up there as well. And Galamon also has a tendency because it's a red deck, even though you have, trainings, cool boys, and whatever you're else running, you have a chance of bricking kinda in that deck. And, Galamon can just OTK you, right? And then my other top 2 decks is going to be Purple Hybrid because Purple Hybrid is still really good. You don't do any, Purple Hyrule doesn't change where it was at in like the format. It won 2 in the last format, with the top 3 decks being Sakuya Royal Knights and Megiddo Dot deck. Purple Hyrule was the 4th probably best deck, and arguably because of how many it won, you could say it was a top 2, I think, top 3 of its wins. And then the 4th, I think, is Machinedramon. I think Machinedramon, because those 3 decks got pushed out of the way, it gave room for a deck like Machinedramon to be able to like take that extra turn it sometimes needs for it to set up, and then you go boom, OTK someone out of nowhere now. Which I think is why we saw 4 tops in the US. I think those are my four picks. I don't know about you, Varney. What do you think is possibly going to win, or you're on the same thought process?
All right, so let me just say, before I say anything else, that number one, first and foremost, when you consider anything in the formats, and you're trying to think about, not you, but for the audience, when you're trying to think about like, what am I going to play? What am I trying to do? Especially when the format's kind of so unknown. Because like Dan said, there isn't really one definitive best deck in the format. Even for as much as everybody was, complaining about Omni, sure, there was probably a lot of Omni at the tables, but you're not guaranteed to play every match against Omni. And you have an acceptable, because we play a certain amount of rounds. Let's say you're 256
Nats
players.
Is guaranteed 8 rounds, because they already called it.
So 8 rounds means you have an acceptable, you can lose 1 round. And it's a day 2, right? You have a day 2 at Nats?
Yeah, top 16. Yep.
So you can lose 1 match. You absolutely can lose 1. I don't suggest losing 2 because you can bubble out a top 16. So I would say at most, you can lose 1 and you can tie 1. But with that in mind, when you consider, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of knowing representation. I wish we did. I hate that we don't. But if you just base it off of tops, you can play against anything. We had a Gankumon deck. Freaking top.
Gankumon is a really good deck now.
And I said what I fucking said. I said Gankumon. No, not Jessmon. I said Gankumon. You put some respect on that man's name. Like, you can play against anything. So when you think about the fact that you can play against anything, what do you need to consider? What are you trying to do? What do you want to play? Don't think about what you're going to play against. What do you want to play? Do you want to play control? Do you want to play aggro? Do you want to play mid-range? That's like the big scale, right? That's the scale. You have 1, 2, 3. Control, aggro, mid-range. Sure, you can deviate from that a little bit, but that's where you need to align yourself. I think the reason that Machinedramon topped in this first regional is because Machinedramon can do whatever the fuck it wants, especially because 1st, 2nd, 5th, right? These are the 3 and 12th. 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 12th. First place list, purple base. Second place list, DM base. Third place list, purple base. Fourth place list, also purple base. So first of all, let me just say, second place list, you're a god. DM Machinedramon, a king. First and foremost. But 3 purple base Machinedramon. Purple's always been the de facto engine for Machinedramon since
for a while now.
Yeah, it's been
the
for
moment
a minute because
BT15 happened and we got the trash to low 5 or higher to draw 2. That's kind of been like, that's going to be a go-to. But mind you, you could play black base now with no problem because we have a lot of black base cards, and with the Modimon that lets you on the late draw card, that's pretty solid because I played black base at the Virginia regional. I just didn't draw good at all, but that's neither here nor there. But like, it's possible. You can also play, none of them did it yet, but Guilmon, the Growlix engine version, is really strong too.
Yeah. So purple is the de facto engine because it's the best value engine, right? If this is an engine, this is it is Tapirmon. Generally speaking, you're running Tapirmon and you're running Fascomon because those are your undeletions, 2 things. There are other rookies you can slot in. Obviously, most people play Ukomon because why would you not play Ukomon? But there is a list here playing Siakomons because why would you not? And a couple other things. And then it's Machinedramon.
Anything that lets you like trash one, draw one is what you want to play. Like I play Fascos and I play Ukos. That's just what I go to. Some people choose the taper because it's just on lead you draw one. I just like the idea of being able to trash another card if I'm able to, which is pretty good sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's Machine Dramon, right? You literally have the bounties pick of level 5s. Machine Dramon is what is his name, Dan? The ultimate machine.
Yes,
you can build him to be whatever you want him to be. So with such an unknown meta, if Machine Dramon, and these are the Machine Dramon enjoyers, because realistically, nobody except Machine Dramon enjoyers play Machine Dramon. Let's get that straight. Machine Dramon enjoyers said, you know what? We're coming out here to play. I think it's finally time for me to pick up the ultimate machine. And that's exactly what they did. And they were well rewarded for it. They built their deck, and not everybody plays the same level 5s. Somebody out here is playing a War Growl Ace. Another one out here is playing, obviously, DM. So they're playing X Tyrannomons. You got somebody out here playing Daipenmon and Jet Sylphimon, the I guess BT18 versions.
Yes, because they're all turns plus 2k as inheritable, which is fantastic for the deck.
You got somebody out here playing, both of them playing Ultras modes. You got the War Growl X because you got Sec +1. Like, it is quite literally your pick of what you want to do. And Machine Dramon is capable of OTKing, but because it's Machine Dramon, it is capable of what kind of removal? Digivolve, bounce, deletion.
Now everything, which is great.
Everything except like a Chaos Degrade.
Yeah, I was about to say everything except that. And if you want to tuck something, like you don't have that ability.
Yeah, Chaos Degrade and tucking. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have the bounties pick of dealing with whatever you want to be able to pick. So when we look at North America's first regionals, and when we look at this top 16 and look at this representation, yeah, it is basically play whatever you want to play. Now, going into nationals, and you're thinking about, what do I want to play? It's why I say, what do you want to play? What do you want to play? You don't want to play a trash deck. Don't go there thinking that you can get away with playing Dynamon. I love Dynamon, but let's be realistic now. Dynamon's fantastic. How far is he going to get you right now at this very moment? These decks are good. Every one of these decks are good because they have some level of consistency to them. They have some level of consistency and some level of removal that allows them to deal with the top decks of the format. Galactic, before the ban list even went into effect, Galactic got top 8 in Oceania, and it got second in France. And then it also got top 8 in Portugal earlier in the month. Galactic's still a good deck. And Galactic
Galactic is even better now because we have decks that's so heavy tamer reliant, and you just go Destro, pop, and you just control board.
And I'll tell you what, Galactic is even better considering that my biggest problem with Galactic was Megidramon was too damn fast for it. Now that Gravity Crush is gone, I don't have to worry about Megidramon being so fast. But you know what I do have to consider? The fact that Machine Dramon is running around. Because I have to consider that, I do have to think about D-Digivolve. Now, Galactic has tools to deal with D-Digivolve. You do have a Destromon that says, I can't be D-Digivolved. And he does have protection against basically every form of removal. So Galactic is a very strong deck. It is a very strong pick. You can very well take Galactic and do well with it. It is technically a very consistent deck. It's got a very simplistic game plan. And it's basically see this and do the thing. And if you do the thing, you win the game. More so than other decks. It's just,
for sure,
I'm trying to hit the win button as fast as I can, you know? So that's what you guys have to consider if you are going to Nats. If you're not going to Nats and you're just kind of sitting here wondering, and you're like, Varney, shut the fuck up and tell me what you think is going to win Nats or what you think is going to top Nats. I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough to say. Personally, I think Purple Hybrid. If I were to really say something, Purple Hybrid. Because Purple Hybrid is the deck that is the most untouched by everything. It is a deck that is the most consistent, realistically speaking. It is the deck that is the most well-equipped to handle every situation. Yes, even more so than Machine Dramon. Purple Hybrid doesn't give two shits about... As a matter of fact, Purple Hybrid looks at Machine Dramon and says, oh, thanks. I love all of what you're doing. You're going... The more cards you put, I don't need to swing to win against you. The more cards you put in your trash for me, the better, because I can focus on milling you out. They just need to play a slower game. Now, if Machinedramon then tries to ramp up and try to kill them faster, they do have to be a bit more worried. But again, they have tools to try to win that matchup. And because they run Rivals Barrage, Rivals Pops, Highest Digimon. It forces their Machinedramons to purge Source. That can be a good thing. That can be a bad thing. This list is running the Mimi. When you tap it, gain a memory. They could also switch to running those Karis when the security is removed. Tap it, gain a memory. It's very well a thing that they could do if they're worried about some sort of trying to control the game, because it's still a purple card. Sure, it's not going to give them the extra memory off the Jack raid when they do it, but it's going to allow them to control the game a little bit differently. This list here is running a Dexmon. Dexmon brings into mind Kaguya's deck that's can run around and can very well smack you up out of nowhere, because they can flood the board with absolute ease. How many decks, Stan, can deal with a flooded board?
It's very hard. Only like the top 3-4 decks can, really.
Because not even Machinedramon can deal with a flooded board, can they?
They don't care about it. That's the thing. Because you just put you put Invisi, be like, I'm unblockable and unguardable, and I just swing through anyways.
Well, that's the thing, right? Either for Machinedramon, you have to either be unblockable, or make sure you have analog mans set up so that you have multiple redirects. But they're not dealing with your entire board, is what it boils down to. So unless they are running the Dexmons. Excuse me.
But I mean, you mentioned that too, Diaboromon, same concept, right? So Diaboromon can easily top, no problem.
I think Diaboromon is in a very strong spot considering the meta.
And they have a card called Armageddon that tells Omnimon,
Alterus, hold my
when Digivolve effects for you, so you don't get to pop, you don't get to bottom deck, you don't get to do anything.
You know what? I take it back. I'll call it now just so I can be wrong later, but if I do happen to be proven right, I'm gonna say I called it Diaboromon to win nationals. Do you know why? Because I said
I would love to see that happen.
No, the only reason I'll say no is because they do get screwed very heavily by D-Digivolve, and they have no protection against D-Digivolve. But the one thing I will say about Diaboromon, who is outing a 2-stack Diaboromon board?
Very hard.
I mentioned this in the group chat, and Lance, I'm talking about you. Lance was like, I can out a 2-stack Diaboromon board, no problem. How? Tell me. I will. You know what? You remember? You ever play Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force, Stan?
No, but I know you're talking about the puzzles.
You remember those puzzles where they set it up and they're like, all right, you have 32,550, 32,058 life points. 3,200. 3,200, whatever the hell he just said, 30 life points, and you have to figure out how to get to exactly 0 with this amount of monsters in hand and only one normal summon, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna set up a puzzle for you, Lance. I'm gonna put a 2-stack Diaboromon on board, and I'll give you your entire deck, all right? Without probably a Crimson Mode Ace. No, because even Crimson Mode Ace can't do anything against that. I'll give you your entire deck, and I want you to show me how you are going to cleanly out a 2-stack Diaboromon board. Because I don't believe it. Not even Leviamon cleanly outs a 2-stack Diaboromon board. Do you know why? Let me tell you, chat. Do you know why Leviamon doesn't cleanly out a 2-stack Diaboromon board? You might think it does, but let me tell you why it doesn't. Leviamon says, okay, cool, I'm one Digimon, I'm gonna pop both your Digimon. No, wrong. Pop one. In the process of one attempting to be popped, that one is going to, if it has the protection, which it should, because you're a good Diaboromon player, you should have that in your stack. You're going to pop another token to prevent yourself from leaving. You now have other effects that go on the stack and activate. They don't resolve just yet, however, but you also don't leave, right? So, mind you, both stacks are triggering. So now your opponent is now left with the choice to resolve the other part of the effect. So they have attempted to pop your lowest level, which was, hey, you have tokens and 2 Diaboromon stacks, right? So let's say you have like 4 Digimon total, because you have 2 stacks and 2 tokens. and they were popping one of the stacks. Well, they now have to pop your highest stack. Are they going to pop the stack that they already tried to pop, or are they going to try to pop the other stack? If they're going to try to pop the other stack has protection. Guess what? That's not leaving either. Are they going to try to pop the stack that they already tried to pop? Okay, cool, that one leaves, but then they still leave this other stack here that has all these effects that now get to activate, that either get to play out tokens, de-digivolve, they get to pop things depending on what the Diaboromon is. There are so many effects that mean that you can't necessarily cleanly out this 2-stack Diaboromon board. Y'all didn't play the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX puzzle, the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force puzzles when you were younger, and it shows. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, I think Royal Knights, do I think they're gonna win it? No.
No, but I can see a top for sure.
Top, yes, for sure. Win, no. Megidramon, if I did have to pick a black horse to win, I would say Megidramon. Megidramon, obviously Megidramon is kind of come back since the Growl hit, but like we just saw in the Oceania top, you know, it's another just Growl generic list. But I could see somebody just saying, screw it, I'm just going to go back to playing Megidramon because Megidramon does Megidramon things and it can still most certainly just do the Megidramon thing and wipe a board.
Dark hand.
We could also just see Gallantmon just come in and wipe it up because, hey, Gallantmon is Gallantmon, and Gallantmon doesn't even...
still a good card.
You don't even need a board. That's an OTK deck. Don't let them fool you. they can do whatever they want. And in this meta where Purple Hybrid puts cards in trash and Machinedramon puts cards in trash, and to a certain extent, you know, other decks put cards in trash for certain reasons, one reason or the other. Hey, I got Crimson Mode Ace. That's a card. Now, that does rely on them playing Takato because they need Blitz. This list here, that top 16, they're playing the Takato. Or I guess they also, you have the new one that gives Raid, so that works too. OmniX, well, you don't care about OmniX, you do want the Crimson Mode Ace, but yeah, you have ways to just win. It's very open, like Dan said. There's no one definitive deck. There's a very clear, yes, you can play this deck and it gives you the best chance of winning, but I will tell you that if you play Ultra S thinking that this deck is going to be an auto win, you will auto lose because it's not that easy. If it were that easy, we'd be in a tier 0 format and the deck would have, you know, been, it would have shown, but it's not the case. Play what you want. It's the one thing I like about Digimon when we're in these formats. I know some people, and I guess this kind of leads us into this next sort of topic. Some people say that like we're not really. I guess all right. Let me read this. On Reddit, a post was made. Competitive Digimon is in a catastrophic state right now. So I've been playing catastrophic. So I've been playing this game for a while now, and I've heard a lot of unnecessary doomsaying about the state of Digimon in the past, but the current format is in such a bad state that something has to change. Ever since the global merge, this game has been a steady influx of decks that completely ruined the competitive experience. If you look at the top cut of any event in the last 6 months, you'll find 90% of the topping decks follow the same pattern. They have an extremely easy, They have an extremely easy form of setup, and once they reach it, usually at turn 4 to 5, they become able to kill the opponent from a completely empty board, usually involving rush through multiple security, and they also do it while having premium removal attached to their attackers. You really feel how this affects the games if you look into any of these lists. Most people are not playing with the ace mechanic anymore because they just don't work against those decks. Royal Knights resolve BT13 Omni, clear your board. Sakuya turns off aces. Omni, Ultra S becomes unaffected. Machinedramon has removal for everything. Adventure, same thing. Purple Hybrid blocks your color. Ironically, Growl X, the biggest criminal, are the only decks where you can try to ace, but then they just do BT13 Gallant into promo and kill you anyways. The ban list has done nothing to address this, besides making Growl decks slightly less high-rolly and putting Sakuya on pause until the release of their new starter deck. The amount of decks that gain rush while also having removal is just unreal. I've never experienced so many non-games while testing for regionals. Most games you just scoop by turn 3 because one player has the kill set up and the other player has 0 ways to interact with it. I guess I talked for a bit, so Dan, I'll let you go off and then I'll comment. So, go ahead.
I'll be honest. I kind of like zoned out for a second on some of the stuff you're saying. I'm guessing the point he was just saying was that like the game, like all decks feel the same no matter what, and you can't do anything about it. Is that what the idea is?
Basically, the Mike point that every deck plays the same. No deck has a sort of unique. Well, not even that. It's just, yes, all decks play the same. They all basically win on turn 5. Or by turn 5, okay. Let's say. I guess I'll talk for a little bit. Feel free to cut me off at any time. Looking at the most recent top 16, because that's what we have. Can you really say that? I mean, I guess from a competitive, and when I speak, I don't speak from a casual player's perspective. I never speak from a casual player's perspective. And the reason I never speak from a casual player's perspective is because the casual player's game is an entirely different game from the competitive player's game, right? Casual players will always think about the game differently from a competitive player. The health of the game casually is different from the health of the game competitively. That is a fact. If the game were in a bad state casually, you would be Battle Spirit Saga. Or you would be Dragon Ball Fusion World. Now, granted, Fusion World is not at the point where they're dying, but I will tell you that Fusion World is at the point where players would rather play Masters. How does that bode well for the game that you went through a reboot for? It doesn't. So, and also, how does that bode well for the game that you went through a reboot for, and the game is so much simpler that players would rather go back and play the game that is way more complex, has way more power creep, but because of what you've done with Fusion World, they would rather go back and play Masters. That's how bad Fusion World is right now, right? So when we look at Digimon in the same
That's wild to hear.
It is wild, right? When we look at Digimon in that light, yes, casually and competitively, we are looking at two different things, and we're going to speak from the competitive player standpoint. Well, we can talk about casual another day. Honestly, I think casually the game is fine. I don't hear anybody complain about the game casually, and it's because you have tabletop rules, right? You say, I do it. I don't go to locals to play fucking Royal Knights. I know people don't like playing against Royal. I love Royal Knights, and I don't go to locals to play Royal Knights. I don't go to locals to play fucking Sakuyamon. Not that I like Sakuyamon or this iteration. Or, I don't know, insert meta deck here. I like playing the decks that I like to play, and I do have decks that are lower power that I like to play if I'm going to locals. But if we look at this top 16, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somewhere between 9 to 11 decks. And somebody's going to say, well, you can't look at the amount of decks in top 16 and say that diversity is entirely indicative of the health of the format. And I would say, yes, you are right, but no, you are also wrong. You can't judge the entire thing of that. Yes, that is correct. But you also can say with a certainty that, well, players are experimenting, and that's good, right? If players felt that any one deck was the de facto deck to be playing, they would be playing it. If there was one deck that players felt would win them the game, they would play that one deck. We saw it with Purple Hybrid. We saw it with Beelzemon. We saw it with Magnamon at a point, you know. So I can't say Sakuyamon. As much as I hate Imperial, I can't even say that. Growlmon. We saw it with Growlmon, obviously, at a point. You would think that, okay, cool, Growl X went untouched by the ban list. Everybody would flock to playing a Growlmon deck, right? But they didn't. And I feel like that's the story being missed here. Yes, Growlmon X didn't get hit by the ban list. I stand by what I said previously. And I think because we had one Megidramon and one Growlmon deck in our top 16, and then for Oceania, they had 2 Growlmon decks, one of which was a Phoenixmon deck. And that's the only 2 events that we've had that I see. I don't know what the other events are because I don't have them handy. That's good. Like, players are still playing what they want to play. They will play what they think is best. Growlmon, let's also look in this light, right? Ultra S is an expensive card. Ultra S, I learned today, was like a $15 US card. You need 4 of those. That's $60. To play Growlmon, the most expensive card here, I guess, is Promo Gallant. And you only really need like 1 to 2 of those. Those are like maybe, depending on how you get them, when you get them, considering that most players would already have had those cards compared to like Ultra S, because this deck has been in the format longer, they probably got these cards at like $15 to $20. So that's like $30 to $40 they spent, and it's the most expensive card in the deck if they're not playing Medieval. Growl X as a deck is like a $60 competitive deck. Compared to Omni, which is, how much would you estimate this deck is, Dan? Like
base rarity?
Yeah.
Might be close to like 80 to 100.
80 to 100. Oh, I guess because they're not playing too many Omni Aces, right? Because they're focused on
yeah, it's like 1 to 2.
Right, I forgot about that. Because Omni Ace was the card I'm thinking of, not Ultra S. My bad.
Ultra S is like 30.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Ultra S, you're having about 3, 2 to 3 usually. Usually 3.
Only?
Yeah, and then you have the CS Omni that's like at 2. It's usually like 3, 2, 2.
So okay,
3,
so
2,
then
1.
I guess with that in mind, that's like a sub, let's say a sub 120 deck compared to Growlmon, which is approximately half of that.
Probably
cost.
$20.
So
what else is expensive in Omni and Growl X? Nothing really.
It's really just the Promo Gallant, and then if you decide to play Medievals. But that's the thing, right? When you look at the cost of the deck competitively speaking, if a player is competing competitively, Growlmon is technically the deck you want to play. I mean, that is a strong deck. It's just going to do what it does. Or Purple Hybrid, right? Duskmon would be the card. That's probably like, I don't know, at most a $10 super rare. It's not even that much. It's a
high five.
It's like a $3 to $4 super rare. And then you also play the Promo Gallants if you want. So it's arguably about the same cost as what's it called? As Growlmon. But players are choosing to also play Ultra S because they think it's strong and they want to play it. There's a lot of micro stories behind the decisions in what players chose to bring to this event. It's why I wish we had representation. One thing that Digimon could really use is more results about what players decided to bring to these events, because if we had them, we could speak a lot more about what the meta really is. But without that, we can only make judgments based on tops, which is it's really just one small piece of the pie. And because that's all the pie that we have, it's the only piece of the pie we get to talk about. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think competitively, the meta is in a very good state. There's a very wide array of decks that you can pick. I named 9 decks, but that's not all the decks that you can play. I didn't name Sakuyamon. I didn't name Galactic. There was a 7 Great Demon Lord top that I didn't name. There was a
Adventure.
I think I
could also win it all.
Adventure, yes, Adventure could also win it all. Crossheart was I think I probably named Crossheart.
You didn't even name all the decks. I'm just saying, you just said there was 9 decks. That's all you did. You didn't name anything.
Okay, so there are, you could very well, I would estimate that there's upwards of,
there's like 12 decks that's like legit where you can be like, this could potentially win.
I would say closer to, well, I'm in terms of not even winning. I'm saying just in terms of
doing
topping,
well,
because winning is a whole different thing. But in terms
I think like
of
12
topping,
to 15, there's like 12 to 15 decks where it's legit.
I would say, closer to 15. EX10 isn't legal, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so yeah,
so we can like
very well.
We got fingers. All right. So offer Omni, Gallant, right? That we've been talking about, right? Those 2 decks. We've been talking about for topping as well. Machinedramon, Purple Hybrid, Growlmon. That's 5 right there. Sakuyamon, 6. We didn't even mention this. Galaxy. Galaxy is a good ass deck.
Just because it's not here doesn't mean it's not good.
Galactic is fantastic spot again, like we just talked about, right? Adventure, Royal Knights. That's 10 decks we just named. 7 Great Demon Lords. That's 11. What else you mentioned? Puppets. Diaboromon. What else? What else we didn't talk about just now? Birds, I guess. That's 14.
Gen Con had a random Mastimon top.
Mastimon is weirdly good because of Omnimon, because you can just say kill tamers. So I don't know. Like, also Misplay for Games are hyping up Dorbrickmon.
But
like you just never know.
But let's just talk about that.
Fuck.
Gen Con had a random Mastimon top. It's not easy to top with a deck. I don't care what you say and I don't care how you say it. You don't just luck your way into topping. Luck is half the battle, skill is the other half. Mastimon did something. Somebody went half of the way with luck and they took the other half with skill. If they did it with Mastimon, who's to say that you can't, you know? I talked this shit on Dino, but you could very well try to take, if you really wanted to. Dinomon is way more consistent than fucking Mastimon.
Hey, look, I played against Mastimon the last regional and that was like popping off like crazy.
You could do it, I guess, you know? I guess, you know what? Like, looking at the list, they don't play the Mastimon, what's it called? They don't play Mastimon Ace, and they don't play the starter deck one. They only play 4 of the promo, then they play 2 Shadow Serafi and a Dominimon. So, I mean, you inherently get rid of inconsistency because focusing on promo, I mean, that's inherently really good because promo is obviously freaking fantastic card. So, I mean, it does make sense, you know? But I really don't think that this game is in a bad competitive state. Now, let's take a look from a slightly different light. And let's talk about play styles, because that's what really should have been said. Decks winning on turn 5. Royal Knights. Royal Knights does not have a turn 5 win button anymore unless they are really just not
God rolling.
Unless they're God rolling and they're not interacted with. Somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody said, I think it might have been Bizky, and said it the best way. Royal Knights is the most fair deck, because if you remove my Royal Knight, well, I don't have something for Yggdrasil. I don't have Purge, so I can't tuck under Yggdrasil. So I have to rely on this Omekamon, and hopefully you're not playing a deck that bounces my Omekamon, and hopefully you can delete my Omekamon so that I can tuck under my Yggdrasil. I'm not winning by turn 5 with Royal Knights. Royal Knights, I'm in it for the long game. And if I get to the point where I get to do, I want to say that. Okay. If I get to the point where my Omnimon gets to call out the buddies from the back and say, yo, let's jump this man's, I think I deserve it. You know, I worked for it. Okay?
Sure. At this point, yeah. Before, you didn't have to work hard for it, but now, yeah, you gotta work hard to get there again.
I worked for it, okay? Crossheart. I mean, it's Crossheart. That's inherently unique. Adventure, well, let's come back to Adventure. Imperial.
You know, I named those like 15 decks, and I didn't even name both Imperials. That's how crazy.
Yes,
that's how strong a lot of these decks
Imperials.
are good. That's how good these decks are currently. That I named 15 decks, and Imperial wasn't even the 15, which, mind you, they're probably like top 10 realistically in today's game.
And I will. Okay, so let's do a little of micro analyzing. Crossheart, you don't have an ace. If you wanted to play an ace, there are ones you could play, but you're better off doing what this deck is doing and playing Volder Arm. Imperial has aces they can play, and you'll play Fighter Mode Ace and probably IPM Ace. And that's what you're good for. But Imperial is just a stupid OTK deck or a stupid aggro kill your security deck. So yeah, sure, Imperial. Gankumon.
I didn't name Gankumon in the top 15 that I just 15 decks I mentioned. And that deck. Oh, I think that was the one that won. That was the third deck that won, I think it was. or at least it was top 4 or some shit.
I don't know. I don't have those results anywhere, unfortunately. But Genkumon is, I mean, unaffected by opponent's Digimon effects, which is today's game.
It's not just Genku, it's your whole board state. Too.
Sorry, yes.
That's what
your
makes it
entire
crazy.
board,
yeah.
which becomes, I believe they become like blocker, reboot.
And immune to bounce and deletion or something like that.
And then you have both Oryuken Ace. Well, not that you can blast Oryuken Ace, but you do have Oryuken Ace that you can use. But you have Jesmon GX Ace, which is the very important one to have. So to OP's point here on Reddit, you have aces that you can use, and you do have a more unique sort of playstyle. Puppets, they don't gain rush, but they do generate a very oppressive board state to say that if you don't deal with me, I do win on the next turn.
Yeah,
it is how that deck works. So yes, it might as well be pseudo rush. Purple hybrid. I mean, well, purple hybrid is unique, right? It's a hybrid.
You just bum
deck.
rush until you win.
Let's conglomerate hybrid decks into one sort of playstyle, because hybrid decks inherently have one playstyle. They digivolve on tamers and they do things. So hybrid decks. Machine Dramon. Well, it's the ultimate machine. You're going to have technically one playstyle of assembling the ultimate machine, and what you can do with that machine is different. Leviamon is your stupid, big chomping security eating alligator or crocodile. Sorry, somebody's about to eat me up in the comments now because I called him an alligator.
Sir, he's a dog. He's a good doggo.
He's a good dog. He's a little dog with a long snout. Leviamon. I mean, yes, that is an OTK deck that does delete your opponent board. So if we name OTK decks, Imperial, Levia, Omni. Magijumon's not an OTK deck anymore.
Nah,
that's it's
they got a high roll for that now.
It's a TTK deck. It's a 2-turn kill deck.
Yeah, they got. I mean, again, they can high roll if that's set up. I'm sure they could.
If they get like an early, exactly. I will agree. Like, we can use some more diversity in the decks that are topping, but I think we're getting that. I think the problem.
I guess I don't even think it's an issue. I just think it's just the way the game is right now. Some of these control decks are also like secretly OTK decks because they control you out of the game until they can't OTK you, right? Galactic is an example of a perfect control deck that goes, all right, time for me to win now. After me controlling your board and said, no tamers for you and no Digimon, whatever. Now is my time to win, put you down to 1 security, swing for game. I think Kaguya is very much control-esque in the sense of what it does, and then it sets up your Kaguya. You build a spread.
Board Swarm. It is the best board swarm deck in the game.
Diabormon can talk about that one. But anyways, Diabormon can go 5 tokens easy with its own stacks, you know that. But anyways.
Yeah, but Kaguya just says cool.
Yeah, Kaguya can get there 4 bodies easy though. Because I guess like average 4 to 5 usually with it, because you're gonna get a Kaguya stack. You get your Kaguya stack usually with sometimes a second stack going on with the level 4, a token, and then like a rookie sometimes. That's usually like what it goes to. That's like the general state.
It's the fact that Karakuramon is an on play. So if that Kaguya lives, that next turn, it is entirely possible that they just hard drop Karakuramon and boom, there's either a second Kaguya, or can they do Central, or is it just Kaguya?
I don't remember right now, but you can
whatever it
is.
is.
I think it's any of them. You just Evo for free by popping a token.
You just
or a puppet.
Boom.
Right.
You're back into it. Doesn't matter if I give you 6 memory, because now I have like 10 bodies on board, and surely you can't deal with 10 bodies.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I can't even say. Yeah, Machine. I would say Machine used to be more control-esque, but like now, because of like the power it has of being of OTK, it's become this thing where it's just an OTK machine, but you're not even OTK per se, because you're chip damaging the whole time while you're setting up. So it's not like you're winning with them at 5.
It's like a mid-range
it's possible
combo sort of deck in a way.
I don't know about combo, but like you going,
maybe
you
not
go Uko swing,
combo, but
fast go swing, taper swing. Who cares if they die? Doesn't matter because I get my resources. And then when they're down, 2 to 3 security, you go, all right, time to play machine,
get to win.
And then I win.
Yeah.
So but mind you, that's a setup for it to get to the OTK. Again,
right.
Perfect scenario. If they have 5 security still for whatever reason, you can OTK. Yes, there's the combo. We all know the combo. You go machine, swing 2 checks, unsuspend, evoke chaos, swing 2 checks, unsuspend, goes to chaos X, swing 2 checks, unsuspend, swing your game, right? You can do that. But realistically, that doesn't happen often. Omnimon, you can do that with. Omnimon, you could say, I don't care what you do. I could chill with these rookies, don't care, and then go double alter as win. That's possible. I would say it's more of an OTK deck than something else, some of the other decks that we have. Here. Now, probably. Same with Gallon. Gallon could win at 5, no problem.
Yeah, sorry. Those 2 are the 2 true. Levia, Omni, Gallon. The 3 true OTK decks we have.
And everything else that has the potential to OTK, like Fish can potentially OTK, but the chances they go from 5 and win is rare because you're doing chip damage too a lot of times. And so it's everything is a fake pseudo OTK, if that makes sense, because they're not chilling or whatever, right? They're doing things to prep the OTK, and then you make your boom, you go your turn.
It's a byproduct of what the deck does. It's not the goal of what the deck does.
And we'll see if because people complain that we have no real control decks. I think we're about to get some real control decks in EX10, especially APOC. APOC is a new style control deck that can burst out.
Let's talk about some non-trash. Let's talk about the real kings, right? You talk about APOC, bro. Let's talk about Belphemon or Black War
control
Greymon. Belphemon is but Belphemon is what you described in Galactic, right? Where it's cool, I'm playing this control game until I get to set up my my OTK essentially, but you're not even OTKing with it because the new Belf is sec +2. You don't get an unsuspend. You do 3 checks, you go back to sleep. You do 3 checks, and then you go back to sleep. Maybe you get to play out a Digimon, then you get an extra attack, or you can play Demonic Disaster, and then you can get the extra unsuspend. But it's not inherently an OTK deck. You do game plan, and then go back to sleep. Sleep mode facilitates you being able to control your opponent's board. Pop Tamers, right? Against all of these decks. Pop Tamers, suspend Digimon down, prevent extra attacks, or Black War Gray Ace chilling on board, giving protection to stacks because we got Greymon X that can work its way back into the format if you're able to God stack your Greymon. Now you can just leave your Metal Greymon chilling on board. You don't need to worry about, I gotta God stack my way into a War Greymon now because you got a Black War Greymon Ace that you can go into. Beelzemon, a deck that was formerly an OTK deck and is now finding its way into being another sort of, it's an ace card, Dan. What is an ace card?
But you still going.
You can still be offensively. Yes, I know, and I'm not saying it's not going to be, but I'm saying it is formerly an OTK deck, and now it can find its way into being, because it's not doing anything currently, right? Let's just look at it in that light. An OTK deck not currently doing anything that can now find its way into the format with this ace card. Because if this card was just a regular non-ace card, yeah, it comes into the deck as, all right, I'm trying to be another OTK deck, but now it's an ace card. You don't have to just focus on the OTK. Yeah, you can just come out here and try to play the, cool, I'm trying to play a sort of mid-range combo game. I've got my Balmon chilling here. Do I have the Beelzemon or do I not? Swing, take a chance, buddy. Maybe I might ace you, maybe I won't. But I do have a Beelzemon sitting in trash. I guess you'll find out which one I do, which one I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. I think EX10, for some reason, seems like people are sleeping on it. But EX10, I think this is a big set for Digimon for pulling us away from a lot of the decks that we've been seeing in terms of, we were talking about interactivity earlier. It's not going to give us a lot of the interaction we want, but it's going to give us back some of the control decks that the game has been missing that players might be wanting.
Yeah, for sure. You know what brought us back to, sanity, brings us back to a good place. The villains of this series. These heroes out here be trying to be non-interactive. Right? Non-interactive. Right? I get to win, and that's it. Call it a day. F these heroes, boy. It's all about these villains. They try to make the game good, That's what I say. Black or Greymon was always the hero we needed, not the one you wanted. Whatever the say I used to say was, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been. He should have never been killed off because we lost balance because we killed off the control deck that we needed and controlling these tamers out here,
What a crazy world we live in where all of the big bad UTK decks are basically all the decks that people are complaining about.
Exactly. All the real villains, man, are the heroes.
We need
what
some true villains, man.
No, they're the villains the whole time. They were never real pro tags. They were never heroes. They were villains in disguise the whole time, thinking they want you to be. They want to see you be, the good guy. Psych. It's not. They lied. It's like, when Scooby-Doo, they rip off the mask and they're like, oh, it's you. No, rip off the mask again. That's a real person. That's the heroes in this shit. The real heroes is the EX10 that's about to pop out,
That is very true. And now getting back to one of the earlier points I was talking about was Ragnarok Cannon. So we are with Comet Hammer and also Crescent Leaf. We are seeing
I named that attack wrong twice earlier.
Yeah, what did you name it?
I said Comet Fist at first and then Comet something else. maybe I did say Comet Hammer the second time. I don't know. But I know it was Comet Fist. I said it wrong at first.
So with these two cards, Comet Hammer is a D-Digivolve 4, and then when one of your CS trait Digimon attacks, you can activate the delay to D-Digivolve again. Crescent Leaf is arguably like more busted, right? Because it's actual removal. Like D-Digivolve is great, don't get me wrong, but it isn't removal. Whereas Crescent Leaf is removal. Return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to bottom of deck, then you place it, and then you can, when one of your CS trait Digimon attacks, you can return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to bottom of deck. Those are so good. So good. Ragnarok Cannon. The reason I love that card is because for Galactic, right? Let's talk about what the card does. Pop lowest level when you attack. Pop lowest level. If you don't, trash top security so your opponent has one card left. If the card were to just read pop lowest level and then when you attack, pop lowest level, it's like, all right, I mean, that's cool. I'll probably play like two of it, right? You're playing Galactic. It's kind of like you're playing this long, you end up playing this long game where you're like, all right, I'll play like two of this. And then when I Digivolve, I get to use it. So I get to pop one of my opponent's Digimon. Then when I swing, I get to pop another one of their Digimon, which is cool. But that extra bit of text that says, if this effect didn't delete, burn them to 1. First of all, for lore, that's awesome. But looking beyond the lore, for gameplay for Galactic, because of what the deck facilitates, because you can spend your first like 3 turns just doing Vemon searches. And then you finally get to a point where it's like, okay, cool, I can build my Galactic. But if I haven't died by this time, fantastic, right? Now you've built the big bad Galactic, you pop your opponent's lowest level Digimon. Now you put your opponent on a clock. This deck is the epitome of Digimon video game boss monster. Your opponent is on the clock. The clock is now ticking. And if your opponent doesn't do something, if they don't win the game, you will win the game. And that's what it boils down to, right? I feel like a lot of people forget that. The game is a clock. It is inherently a back and forth. It's why I don't like Gundam. Because if I wanted to play something like Gundam, I would play Digimon. So I will play Digimon. But I don't want to just swing at my opponent's shields. And now I try to swing for game. that just feels like I'm playing worse Digimon. And then maybe I'll swing at their thing on boards and try to get rid of it. Literally that aspect of it is playing Digimon. The only thing that differentiates the game is the fact that you have bases, which is cool, but it's not unique. There's nothing unique about Gundam. But for Digimon, digital monsters, where you take your V-Pets and you link them together and you send your Digimon to battle against each other, right? Like, that's the thing. Not everybody, like, you don't always need to send your Digimon to battle against your opponent's Digimon. You can end up ignoring your opponent's Digimon and just swing at your opponent's security. I don't like every boss monster having removal, but I like the use of option cards because I like the idea of attacks. I mentioned in the past when we saw Ragnarok canon, I would love for something like War Grey to be able to use a Gaia Force on attack.
For
like
sure.
It'd be cool to say, cool, War Greymon, when it attacks, use a Gaia Force, pop Digimon's lowest level. Well, guess what the hell we just got? Those two option cards. And they are archetype locked, so you can't just abuse them in color. You have to use them with a CS trait deck. So not everybody's going to be able to use them. And if we could see that going forward for more decks where every, level 6 that comes out, they get their signature move as option cards that can activate on delay. Not every one of them, doesn't have to be every one. But for some of them, they get ones that activate on delay. That would be cool. When this Digimon attacks, or when one of your Digimon digivolve into a Leopardmon, you can use this card or stuff along those lines. Number one, first and foremost, give us reasons to use option cards that aren't just name, training, scramble, memory boost. That is the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, because since they aren't consistency pieces like these options, they gotta do something that's worthwhile. And if they're not doing worthwhile stuff, like, why are you even running it? Like, the only reason why certain decks like Galactic is running, because it's worthwhile. Like, you're not really using it for a cause. You can if you need to, but you're usually going to just go Galactic, then I'll play the Ragnarok can for free, by the way.
For free.
Because you're evoing for, whatever the cost is for the evo, and then you use that. And it has a great, delay effect. Cool. Even if it didn't have that delay effect of, like, put your opponent to 1, I think that's still a card that you will run 2 to 3 of at least, because you're able to use it in a way free. It's free, and it's in archetype, and you're able to use it, and it's just not a giant 8 cost thing where it's like, oh, I only get to remove one thing anyway, so, like, it's a waste. So other decks, there's no real other decks are using a purple hybrid, because you can fit that, and those cards that you use, those option cards that you can use, have effects when they get milled anyways. They have a second purpose. That's exactly why. And so outside those decks, what's really using it? What decks are using options that are not mem boost, trainings, or scrambles? It's really rare. You see the occasional maybe ice wall. I mean, all right, let's add prior the mem gaining ones, right? The mem gaining options were used. So besides those that are accelerating your game plan, what decks are playing options that's not accelerating your game plan, that's maybe stopping your opponent from doing things like running a rivals or something? Not many decks are doing that, and if they are, it's a 1 of, it's a 2 of max. Like, Diabormon will occasionally run a catastrophe cannon, but it's searchable. But you're also getting something out of it, which is usually a Diabormon token as well, besides being a deterrent, which is digivolving 2, I think it is.
I think it's 2, yeah.
And then you create a token if you have Diabormon. So, like, it's dual purposes. But, like, anything else is really hard to see. Like, that's why it's so funny. Like, when we were doing Wheel of Digi, and we each other seeing, like, random options that was like we haven't seen in a long time, just because we're so built in current style Digimon, whereas, like, you'll see this eventually. Martian Fitchers was like, the fuck, who's ever running this? Well, in a format that's not meant to run boost, it's not a optimized deck, it makes sense to run it. When I was doing Will Digi 1 and I played War Greymon, I had 3 to 4 Gaia Forces in it, because I can do that. It's part of the game. There's no, crazy, I'm just trying to build boosts and trainings and all that stuff. Or, Melga, you can run Ice Wall, you can run Kakaida's Breath if you want to, stuff like that. You just don't see in today's game anymore because it got all phased out. So how do we bring those type of options back? One, honestly, it got to be cheaper cost than like an A cost drop. And two, they got to have dual purposes.
If it costs 8, it's got to do something to justify it.
It has to guarantee. You got to guarantee you to either remove something or like you're removing something plus you're doing something else. Like
like Chaos Deck, for example.
Well, yeah, but besides that, like newer stuff, like
Raging Serpentine.
That's a dual purpose of removing something and then you can evo for free. I think it is.
But it
afterwards.
also costs it bumps its cost down to 4 somehow. So you end up not paying the full cost of 8 at the end of the day. It's just 8 costed on the card. When the card would be used, if your opponent has 3 or fewer security, you reduce the use cost by 4.
Gotcha.
Which then you pop your opponent's highest DP, place it in battle area. When opponent's security stack is removed from you, delay, in which then one of your Digimon can digivolve for free. Right. Yeah. So cool. Removal, that becomes cheaper when you start playing the game. So it's not just ripped right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of lost my train of thought because I said that. So options have to be dual purposes like that in today's game. And these options that we just got released, we're recording this on a Tuesday. We saw these Sunday or Monday, I think it was
Sunday,
something like that. It was very recent, within the last couple of days. And in my eyes, I think they're fantastic, and I think those are cards you will see a ton of use in because of it being 5 costs. So it doesn't feel bad if you're going.
Especially I'm at 3. On an ace.
If I'm at 3, I'm gonna play this for 5, put them to 2, or I'm at 1, I give them 4, or 0, 5. 5 is not that. 5 is a lot in today's game, but it doesn't feel as bad from going from all right. I'm at 0. I'm playing Ulti Flare for 8.
Well, let's take a.
And that's what's tough. That's what's tough is like those options back in the day, they were high cost and you had to use them very sparingly. And if you did, you're giving them a lot of memory to be able to rebuild a whole board again. And at least these, you use it once, and then you can use it again later on for free to remove your ops.
Well, let's take a step beyond that. There's good counterplay for them as well. Or not counterplay for them, but like against aces, right? Because I know people have spoken badly about aces, like that aces aren't being used. But I mean, if aces were overly being used, if there wasn't a way to get rid of aces, then aces would be overpowered, right? And you do get into situations where it's like, well, damn, my deck doesn't have an out for aces. I can't out what's going to come. I get into situations like I was playing against Dan on the sim with Wheel of Digimon. And I was like, well, there's a 99% chance you have the ace. I can't remove the body, but I also don't have any other choice but to swing. I have to swing. And I swung and he had the ace, and it is what it is. Motimon says, when any of your CS trade option cards are placed in the battle area, this Digimon may attack. That means you can use these option cards and you can bottom deck the Digimon that's in the way or de-digivolve it, get it out of the way, and then still be able to attack. It does mean that you have to pass turn. It does mean that, all right, cool. Like you might not be able to digivolve into something that you might have wanted to get past the thing and do the thing, yada, yada. It does make you play a little bit inoptimally. There might be combos that let you, do something when attacking, or we saw it with Galactic. It's entirely possible that the generic, or maybe not generic, but the CS traded 6s we get, say, when digivolving or when attacking, use
a
CS trade option, right? Like those could happen, like nothing's out of the question. And that's a design philosophy that is good for the game, because removal on freaking body is something I have always hated. I didn't mind it earlier in the game because it was generally reserved for level 7s and it was used sparingly on 6s. Now it's on generally like everything, especially when you can like do like Monochromon, Digivolve 1, and then Digivolve into a
Had
level
level
5.
4, yeah.
and then have a level 5 remove what was formerly a level 6. Like, that's
you could
annoying.
have jamming in that stack too, because you could have the Betamon thing that has jamming. So Monochromon guarantee it will live, Digivolve, and then go into something else.
Yeah, that's annoying. And I don't like that. Of course, that's an edge case, but those sort of situations are things that we should try to, well, not we, the game developers should try to stray away from. And we should try to move more towards cases where we are, rewarded for running option cards not named memory boost, scrambles, and training boost in our deck. Such as this. It's like, cool. Monochromon swung, Digivolve that bitch. Or bottom deck that bitch.
But a great option that I'm sure, I don't know if it was based on, obviously, but the, what's it called? The Bite and Crush.
Yes.
Like that's an expensive option where you can play and then you feel comfortable because of having a gray delay effect, right? You just pop a body, and then if they play something, then you play Leviathan now. So that's like another way you can like trap them using an option card where it's not just your usual, what's it called, options in today's game. Like the only other decks that really, I just remember because of Levi, right? Levi is probably one of the few decks that does because of the Bite and Crush, and then any 7th grade Demon Lord that runs their X version, their 7th option card that you bottom, deck for an effect. Like sometimes they get run, but like even then they're like all right. I know 7th grade Demon Lords run some of them, but Levi Mino has the Levi X version that 7th Lightning, fantastic card. And we need more of those. We need more that has like a trash effect too. Like all those effects where they're like, you know, limited on 1 or 2 cards. We need more of them in the game where it doesn't feel as bad to feel like you want to feel that, all right, I can put 2 to 4 of these in a deck and I'm okay with seeing them. Like you don't want to have 2 Guide Forces in your hand. Like you just don't want it in today's game at all because you know it's a dead card most of the time. And it sucks to feel that way.
Absolutely. And, you know, we'll leave Pod off. You know, we didn't talk. I mean, I guess we touched on it a bit. We'll leave Pod off with, you can tell where Bandai's taking the game. We're 5 years into this game. We are truly 5 years into this game because it, you know, Digimon came out in Japan around this time 5 years ago. We're here to stay. And next year we'll be celebrating 5 years of the English game.
Yeah, and I think we're heading in the right direction. Like EX10 is looking fantastic. I think BT22 is low-key a really good set. BT23 is looking like a good set too. Like we're having these strong decks, but they're not like overly strong. They're starting to continuously hit these old cards that are like abusable in today's game. And when you slowly start fading those cards out, then you get a more balanced game.
Yeah, for sure. And again, number one, I was the one who said it. We hit decks to balance, not to nerf. Number two, there will always be a best deck in format. Currently, there is no definitive best deck in format, which is great. There is a variety of decks. That is good.
Yeah.
I do think we define a healthy format in a Bandai card game by the representation of tops, because we aren't graced by the knowledge of representation. If we were graced by knowledge of representation, then it is an entirely different topic, because then we can see what conversion rates are. You know, back during BT12, around that time, we were able to see like Hunter's conversion rates. That was a big topic at the time. There was this big grid chart. We saw all these different decks' conversion rates. That's fantastic. If we could get that level of granular data, we'd be able to glean so much more. As a nerd, data analytics is a big thing. We don't have that level of data analytics to perform at this time. So, like I said, small piece of the pie, all we have to work on. I think competitively, the meta is in a good spot. If you were trying to think about how to play the game, you really build your deck and then think about what my worst matchups are and try to shore up your worst part of the matchup, and then you go with whatever it is. My gripes, and maybe I'll talk about this some other time because I've talked about it previously, but if you guys were interested, you can let me know. My only gripes with the game currently is lack of serialized cards. Our last store regionals were in May. WTF? Why is the next wave next month? Why has it been 5 months? I appreciate more in-persons. We've had way more in-persons this year, which has been phenomenal. But in giving us more in-persons, they took away onlines. What? WTF? It's really been a lot of, well, we give and also we take. And I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. And because I don't appreciate, I can only complain so much. I will not complain to the point where it becomes annoying. I will just myself take a step back and do something different, which is what I'm doing currently. Those are where my gripes of the game come with. But I love Digimon. I love the Digimon card game. I love where we're heading. This game is set up for greatness. This game is not going anywhere. These next, we obviously, we're unified. We only know what's coming out in BT23 right now and EX10, which comes out this Friday for us. But BT24 looks like it should be freaking awesome because Time Stranger looks freaking awesome. We don't even know what the topic of BT25 is going to be. It could be a BT24 follow-up, and it could be something entirely different. And the mystery, you know what? No, I don't think they'd ever dedicate an entire set to Beat Break. Not off the rip, at least. But maybe they could. We don't know. Because Beat Break's coming out next month, right? So it's like...
It could be. It could be only because... So, BT23 drops in October.
Yeah.
BT24 drops in February? January? It's like a 3-month separate.
Okay.
And then the next... Most likely EX11's after that. Not most likely, it is.
Oh, it's
that's
EX11?
confirmed.
Okay.
EX11 is confirmed, so that one comes out in March.
And I forgot about the next Liberator set,
and
which is going to fill out the rest. I think it's basically going to fill out the rest of the Liberator decks because Safaga gets his level 7. You can expect, I think, don't quote me, but I think you can expect the rest of the decks to get their level 7. And if you don't have a second line for most decks, boom, you're going to be getting a second line in Liberator set 2. So it's like, we're set up well.
And then BT24, 25 will probably be May-ish.
Yeah, so okay.
It could be Beat Break. It could be.
We could get a dedicated Beat Break set. It is possible.
That's definitely enough time. That's what, October?
That's like 7 months.
Yeah, it's about 7 months. Yeah, I could definitely see it because that's
what
definitely
I said about
enough
15 seconds ago.
I know. I was just clarifying. That's all it was. Relax. Anyways, yeah, that's definitely enough for them to have probably everybody's minimum ultimates and probably start their megas for sure, and be able to have the villains, everything, and be set up ready.
It's possible. I think it's set up very well. Digimon has a bright future ahead of it. Called it at the beginning of the year. 2025 was the year of Digimon, and the only thing we have been let down on this year is competitive Digimon. If I were to check off a report card, a mid-year report card, I know it's like the third trimester, but if I were to check off a mid-year report card at this point for Digimon and Bandai, I would give everything an A+, except competitive, in which I would give a C-, and that would bring the overall grade to something like a B, So we're doing pretty good. I think. I don't know how grades work out. Something like a B, around a B. So yeah. That's it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. If you guys have any comments, feel free to drop them down below. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think we're right about the state of the game? Do you have your own thoughts? Please, we do comment review every pod. It is a very focal point of pod. We try not to reiterate, but of course, we're going to iter the re and ate the iters. So do the thing as... Drop a like on this pod because I know you like this pod. You stuck around this long.
That was some hook on phonics shit right there.
Hooked on phonics? That's what my daughter uses.
Stop. No way. That's still a thing?
Yes, it is a thing.
Holy crap.
I'll talk about this on a future pod because I don't want to drag this one on any longer. But do like this video, because if you guys like the video, the algorithm will try to give you more videos like this, not just from us, but from other content creators as well, who identifies videos like this, similar to those videos, and also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. And if you like this pod, you should go check out our previous pods, because guess what? This is episode 125.
And we are cooking.
And we have like, well, obviously we have 124 previous episodes to check out. But on YouTube, I think
you should probably like click that button over there that shows, you know.
I don't know where it's gonna end up in post.
No, I don't know either.
But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of episodes that you can go check out. Even if like you're an avid listener, I don't know who's been listening since like the very beginning. There's some really bad pods. Like if you go to the playlist and scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll probably find some real shit.
Hey, yo, in the comment section, let us know who's been a day one listener if you have.
Yeah, that's a fact. Day ones, let us know. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. Thank you guys for listening. And until we talk to you guys the next time, peace out.
Catch you on the next one.